Oh, welcome. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. On today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down the season for the New England Patriots. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point. Hopping right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. Let me update this graphic real quick. Welcome to the show. Happy Thursday. It is a spicy one out there here in Fort Wayne, but I did go to the pool for a little bit, made it a little bit better. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we bring you consistent content every single day, including tomorrow. We're going to be doing our big running back, state of the running back position conversation tomorrow. That'll be a fun show. You don't want to miss that content. So like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We also have a plethora of streaming platforms over on the comment section. So go check that out as well. TJ, happy Wednesday. Happy Thursday, my friend. We almost made it to the weekend, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we gotta love those weekends. So, work all week just to take it to the weekend. How are you doing? What's new in TJ's world?
And my brother he made it to Colorado yesterday afternoon. So that's where he's going to be at now. So
Nice.
I'm going to go. So at some point in the near future, I will be going to Colorado for the first time.
Man, I'll tell you, I went to Colorado for the first time earlier this month. Or was that last month? I don't remember. I think it was earlier this month, and I had a very good time in Colorado. Let me tell you, it was very fun. So I think you'll
Yep.
have a good time. But
Yep.
switching focus here, let's talk about the New England Patriots, and let's first talk about their storyline. Let's talk about Mac Jones. Make or break season for Mr. Jones, in your opinion, Mr. TJ Hopkins. His first season, he was very good as a rookie. 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks. Definitely regressed in season number 2. Played 14 games. Was also outplayed by Bailey Zappi at certain sense in this season. Completion percentage went down. Passing yards went down. Touchdowns, interceptions stayed about the same. Not a good look if you're Mac Jones. Do you consider this a make and break season for Mr. Jones?
I think it depends on who you ask. I think a lot of folks are giving him a pass for last season because of what he went through. Like his offensive coordinator were two guys that had zero experience at that position.
Yeah, one of them was special teams coordinator, and one of them spent basically his whole entire NFL career in the NFL as a defensive coordinator. They were
Basically, it's like Bill Belichick's shadow.
Yeah.
So 1 second. Okay, I had to take a pill.
Oh, you're good.
So depending on who you ask, to them, no, it's not because, like I said, he just went through that, and that went about as expected. Like, what you expect to happen, right? Like the guy had no offensive coordinator, and it's like, oh, why is the offense terrible? Well, that's why. Right? They had to call in what's his name? What is it? Marcus Jones or something like that. That the guy that returned the punt against the Jets.
Jonathan Jones, Marcus Jones, yes,
Okay,
Marcus Jones.
they called they it was so bad on offense for them. They called him in, like they put him on offense for just like some bubble screens and stuff,
Yeah.
just just to make something happen.
Because I think the conversation around Mac Jones is really more a bigger picture conversation, right? Because this offense, and they haven't really done a lot to even really address it. Like at the skill position, sure, you brought in a Juju Smith-Schuster, but I just don't think he's wide receiver one. Devontae Parker still here, but he is what he is at this point in his career. Taquan Thornton has some upside, but like when you talk about the skill position when it comes to the New England Patriots, this might be the weakest skill position group in the entire NFL. They're strong at tight end with Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki, who's been pretty disappointing as a member of the Miami Dolphins. They were like, "Yeah, you could just go. Like we don't even care." Like they haven't really like you draft a quarterback and you think you should like put some stuff around him to like try to make it like you especially a first round guy. Like they haven't done any of that. Like they Trent Brown is getting up there in age. Cole Strange was a wild
Wow,
a
reach.
crazy reach a few years ago. David Andrews has been solid at center. Riley Reef is somebody they signed in the offseason, former Chicago Bear, who has been good in stretches, former All Pro. But yeah, they haven't given him the opportunity to even be remotely successful. Ramondre Stevenson's a solid running back, but outside of him, I mean, Ty Montgomery, who's bounced around the league at this point, this I think that, yes, I think this is a make or break season for Mac Jones. I think the New England Patriots are going to be so poor this season. Sorry, Patriots fans, getting into the preview because you haven't looked at their schedule yet. It's a doozy of a schedule. But I think they're going to be so poor this season. They'll have like the first pick in the draft or like top 5 pick, and they'll be an opportunity to look at those quarterback prospects and be like, is this guy give us a better chance to win than who we currently have? And the resounding question and answer is probably going to be yes, because Mac Jones has just really left a lot to be desired last season. He never should have been a first-round pick in the first place. If he went to Alabama, he put up
I'm not going to go there. Come on,
he put
you
up
can't
big
say
numbers
that.
at Alabama that one season, and everybody fell in love with the accuracy. But he hasn't shown any of that in the NFL. Do I think he could be? Do I also think that he could improve if they put some stuff around him that's a little bit better? Sure. Like if he has Alabama's team in the NFL, I think he'd probably put up better numbers. But he just hasn't been that good outside of his rookie season. Like he was wildly outplayed. He also may have returned from the injury too soon last year. That may be like a 3 or 4 week injury that he came back and rushed back. I think this is a make or break season for Mac Jones. I think it is.
Well, again, look what he had to work with last season. I would love to see the guy be successful with Matt Patricia and Joe Judge calling plays. I would love to see that.
I mean, we already saw it. We saw him with Josh McDaniels. He was very good his rookie season. He put him in situations to be successful.
So now you got Bill O'Brien,
who is a very good offensive coordinator, offensive guru, really.
So how you can't say it's a make or break season. Like if he gets Bill O'Brien and he still struggles, then you have that conversation. If he's putting up numbers but they lose, then then you can say it's like, all right, it's not Mac Jones. We gotta make some changes elsewhere. Because you can't put it all on him. Like that's my biggest gripe with the NFL and football in general is when the team wins, the quarterback this, quarterback that. But when they lose, it's depending on the team.
It's a very much a double-edged sword. I mean, either if you're successful, the quarterback gets a lot of the credit, but when you're not successful, the quarterback gets a lot of the blame. That's just the way the NFL is.
But it shouldn't be.
But obviously,
if he plays.
If he performs well this season under Bill O'Brien, he silences all those critics, all the people that think that he's not the guy. This conversation is null and void. But if he doesn't play well this season, I think you're for sure having that conversation. If you end up with a top 5 pick and a Drake, the kid from North Carolina is there on the board, or the kid from Drake May, thank you. If that guy's on the board, I mean, you think you have a really conversation about is this guy give us a better chance to win than who we currently have? I think you're going to seriously have that conversation. Quarterback rating fell down, QBR fell, took more sacks last season. His long per pass attempt wasn't as good this season. Average pass is at 6.8 yards. I just think he regressed in a way that makes me concerned about his future. And we'll see. I think this is a season where you're going to be I think Mac Jones needs to really come into his own this season. I think Patriots are going to be really looking to see maybe go in a different direction quarterback.
I mean, they kind of did that a little bit last season with what's his name, Bailey Zappi. They
yeah, but he wasn't really a real threat to Mac
Jones. They coined the phrase Zappy Hour, and it's just there's a reason why when Mac Jones came back, Mac Jones was the starter. Bill Belichick has been in this game long enough, and he's been around long enough to be all right, this guy gives me the best chance at winning. Bill Belichick gives absolutely 0 F's about your draft status, about where you were drafted. Case in point, Tom Brady. Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. Tom Brady started winning, and Bill Belichick said, hey, we winning. We riding with the guy that's getting us wins. The issue is Bailey Zappi wasn't winning.
He wasn't. It was for sure not winning. That's damn sure. Swinging it from that, let's talk about moving on to this defense. This defense was excellent last season, the top 10 unit in the NFL in terms of yards per game allowed. They had Matthew Judon at one point was one of the front runners for Defensive Player of the Year. Kind of tailed off at the end there as the Patriots season kind of went south. They were also 10th. I think that's 10th in points per game. Looking at them, also they were 5th highest in differential with +7. So they had 30 takeaways with only 23 giveaways. That's pretty solid. But how good could this defense be? Given the fact that they have loaded it up on defense, they spent a lot of their first round pick, a lot of their high draft picks in this year's draft on drafting quarter defensive pieces. Christian Gonzalez, Jubil Peppers is here. Kyle Duggar was a first round pick 2 years ago, or 3 now maybe. Jonathan Jones, all the Jones brothers they got. Jonathan Jones, Mark Jones, Jack Jones.
Jack Jones.
Yeah. What do we think about this defense?
Well, it's Bill Belichick's calling card. It's why he is the way he is. It's why he got so much. Like, it's why Tom Brady was able to have so much success earlier in his career. Obviously, it was a different game way back when. You know, like, defenders could do stuff back then that they can't remotely do now. And again, he learned from one of the best in Bill Parcells. Right, and you parlay that into making your own identity. He also coached the greatest defender ever, depending on who you talk to, in Lawrence Taylor. So when you coach that guy, and you parlay that into, you made guys like Teddy Bruschi and Ty Law and others like household names, like Dante Hightower. I think he's done now. Dante Hightower had a successful career out of Alabama with New England because, hey, that's Bill Belichick. Am I not going to listen to him? Like, I think with the way that the AFC East is shaping up now, with Tua coming back and Josh Allen and Buffalo still trying to keep a steady hold on this division, and more importantly, the Jets getting Aaron Rodgers, like that was like nailed to hammer outside of a few years. Like that, the Patriots Jets.
Yeah.
I didn't even call it a rivalry because it wasn't that. Like that was like Jets, you're the nail, Patriots, you're the hammer. We gonna beat y'all ass twice a year, and we gonna.
You can make that same argument for the entire AFC East. Like they literally just beat all their ass for like
20 years. 20
years. Like
20, like outside
you basically look at the schedule, and if you're the Patriots, you can pencil in 6 victories no matter what. Like you're like every once in a while, maybe the Jets would get you, maybe Buffalo would get you, maybe Miami would get you. Bills never had a chance. I think they had 2 wins against New England in the stretch that Tom Brady was there. But yeah, you could pencil, and like this defense should be excellent again this season. Like all those corners that were pretty young last season, Jonathan Jones, I think was a late round pick last year, was excellent last season.
Jack Jones had a good season.
Yeah, I think Jack Jones is the one that is dealing with legal trouble right now. One of them is. I don't remember which one.
And I know. Cause I know Kyle Duggar. I know that pick was like a hair scratching one, because I know like you didn't like it because I think he was a 2nd round pick out of like Lenore Ryan. It's just like I'm like, I don't care.
It's Jack Jones. He's dealing with a weapons charge right now. I don't think it matters. I think
right. I'll be more concerned with what the Patriots decide to do than what happens outside of that, like honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Duggar went to Lenore Ryan.
Yeah,
like, he might be the only. He was in the 2nd round pick. He might be the only player ever to get drafted from that school. I'm being a little facetious, but not really.
No, no. Like to be fair, I never heard of the school prior to him getting drafted. Like I'm like, where?
But he was really good his 2nd season. Fell back a little bit this most recent season. We had only 3 picks to 4 the season before. He didn't have any picks this first season. But yeah, I think he's been a pretty solid piece. And like this defense should be excellent. Matthew Judon is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. Lawrence Guy continues to be a stable force there. Deatrick Wise, another guy who can get pressure under the quarterback. I actually Josh Uche, I think was a 1st round or 2nd round pick last season. Didn't play much. Yeah, 2020 2nd round pick. I had 11.5 sacks last season in his 3rd season in the NFL. Like he's only getting better.
And when you're Christian Gonzalez, hey man, you gonna have your work cut out for you, man. All just entire division. You're gonna see Stephon Diggs. You're gonna see Gabe Davis. You're gonna see Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis. You're gonna see Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Like you got your hands cut, you got your work cut out for you in your rookie season, man.
Yep.
And that's just in your division. I haven't even looked at your schedule to see who
I mean,
else.
they got the Chiefs, they got Broncos, they got the Chargers. I mean, they're going to play the Raiders at some point this season too. So yeah, it's a gauntlet, and we'll get to it. Moving on from there, let's talk about Bill Belichick here for a minute. Do you think this could be eventually be his final season in New England? I guess I've been saying that for a long time, but do you think this will be the season where he kind of, if this will be it for him?
Nah, I think if last season,
I don't imagine he'll ever get fired.
Right,
he's got to be getting to the point where he's just kind of tired of this. Like, he's 71 years old. He's been the head coach of the New York Jets since 2000. The Patriots, sorry.
I think if last season wasn't it, then and what's his name? Why is it? Robert Kraft is not going to be the one to give Bill Belichick his walking papers.
No,
Bill
Belichick has earned the opportunity to decide when he doesn't want to coach anymore. Like, he's not going to get fired. Like, that's not going to be a thing.
The only way I see him getting fired is if they just the bottom just completely falls out, and even then I just think he just says, you know what, this is it. I mean, I don't expect him to go out like that. Like, if they do like a 5-12 or a 4-13, and like the bottom just completely falls out, even then I just think he just says, I'm not even gonna get fired. I'm just gonna resign or whatever. Like,
I mean, he could still be the GM of the team. I personally think that this Patriots season is not going to go particularly well, and I think this will be the last season for Bill Belichick in the NFL.
I think he stops with both, because
if he wins another Super Bowl, which is for sure not happening, he will. I think he'll be done either way.
Because it's pressure enough doing those jobs individually. Like, it's enough. Like, it's stressful enough being a head coach on its own. It's for damn sure stressful to be a GM on its own, because you got to build the team, and the coach has to coach the team that you build. So it's stressful all the way around. I can't imagine the stress of being both. Like, I got to be the GM and I got to coach. So I got to build the team and I got to coach the team I build. And if it fails, Nick, that motherfucker, that's on me. That's my fault. Yeah. And we said it, bro. Like, for 20 years, especially when he came into his own, for 20 years, he had the ultimate makeup. He had like the ultimate guy to hide the blemishes, to hide all the shortcomings, and that was Tom Brady. He had great defenses, and he had Tom Brady, because Tom Brady was not going to turn the ball over and put the defense in compromising positions. That blemish is gone. Like, that guy is gone now, and now we're starting to see the chinks in the armor. I know we shouldn't. Can we say that phrase? I know that people try to get that phrase, like, quote unquote, canceled because of the word chink, but
the chinks in the armor, that's a totally different meaning than the
one that word. Right. Thank you. So, because people are sensitive these days.
I'm aware, but yeah, that's that.
But yeah, but since Tom Brady's gone, like, we start to see the holes that, hey, this guy
the blemishes. I mean, the bad decision making.
Like,
when it comes to hiring coaches and
when it comes to hiring coaches, when it comes to picking personnel, and we kind of saw it Brady's like last year there too, like last couple years.
There was a reason that Tom Brady didn't finish his career in New England. Like, he just, like, the drafting was suspect at best. Like, the people, free agents weren't coming to play for the New England Patriots. He left for a reason. I'm on a limb here. I think this could be the final season for Bill Belichick.
You would love that, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't necessarily love it. I mean, the league is better with Bill Belichick in it. He's just such a presence in the league. Like, the NFL is better when Bill Belichick is in it. But I just think that this season for Patriots may push him over the edge. I don't think it's going to go well. They're probably the worst team in their own division, and they're probably. I
think that goes without being said.
And I think when we're talking about the whole conference, I can't think of, like, they're like bottom three in my opinion in the whole conference.
he has
Like,
to.
I think they're probably better than the Colts. They're probably better than the Texans, and I think that's it.
I think they better than the Raiders.
No, I would think that. Like, I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Moving on. Let's talk about their draft because for years upon years, New England had done this thing where they basically traded away draft picks to get future draft capital. Well, this is the draft where they kind of cashed in all that. A million draft picks in this draft. Chris Gonzalez. They took an edge out of Georgia Tech. They took a safety out of Sacramento State, another one of those Bill Belichick specials. He took a guard out of Troy. They took a kicker
Which is
out of
fine.
Maryland.
Which you hate.
They took an offensive lineman out of Eastern Michigan. Mac represent, baby. Offensive lineman out of UCLA. Wide receiver out of LSU. Keyshawn Butte, who actually I really like. Taking a swing on him because if they can get him to get his mind right, he could be one of the best wide receiver steals in this draft. They took a punter also in round 6. They took a wide receiver out of Liberty. They took a cornerback, back-to-back cornerbacks, one out of Jackson State and one out of Michigan State in rounds 6 and 7. Yes, HBCU. But yeah, I think, when we talk about this draft, it's really about the Christian Gonzalez pick. I don't really understand the decision that they made to trade back with Pittsburgh and not just take Broderick Jones for yourself, given their deficiencies at the offensive line position. Basically, I don't really understand that decision. The kid from Sacramento he's 6'3", 222 pounds. He wasn't even invited to the combine, but he did show out at the Senior Bowl. He's the first He's the first Sacramento State player since when? Do you know when the last Sacramento State player was drafted in the NFL?
Were black people in the NFL?
In Sacramento State?
No, were black people like at the time he got drafted?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta ask these questions, bro.
Man, I'm sorry. That question caught me super off guard. I was like,
when's the last time a Sacramento
2004. Some offensive tackle was taken 178th by the Jets. Okay. He's the highest player ever taken by that school in that school.
Well, obviously, this is another Kyle Duggar pick, right? Hey, if it works out, you're a genius because you found this diamond in the rough. But if it doesn't work out, it's you wasted a pick on a guy from Sacramento State. Sacramento State, right? Like, what's the that's kind of been the knock on Bill Belichick. And when they was winning 12 games a year, nobody paid these picks any mind because it's like, hey, you're winning 12 games a year. You're going 12-4. You're being penciled in as, hey, you're going to at least a divisional. Right, AFC Championship. Like now, it's like, bro, why are you getting guys out of Sacramento State? Why are you getting dudes out of Lenoir Rhyne? Why are you drafting? I don't know. Shout out to Ryan Pace. Why are you drafting tight ends out of Ashford or Ashland, whatever the hell college that? Like, why are you doing stuff like that? Christian Gonzalez, I was actually surprised he kind of fell to the late teens.
Me too. He's got the prototypical size, prototypical body for.
He's
201
what you
pounds. I mean,
he's what you want in a cornerback nowadays. How tall is he? 6'2". Yeah, 6'2". Like that. Like that's the NFL now, right? If you want your corner to be like 6'2" or like 6'2" to 6'4", rangy, long, like. And shout out to Richard Sherman because you started it.
Keon White, the defensive end from Georgia Tech, had 7.5 sacks last season, fourth most in the ACC. As a second-round pick, he had some intangibles to kind of get some pressure onto the quarterback. The kid, Jake Andrews, the kid from Troy, 6'2", 319 pounds. He's just a straight depth pick. It's crazy that he's like, so he's going to be the incumbent, right? He's going to be the backup to David Andrews. His last name is Jake Andrews. No relation whatsoever.
When you look at the Pats, obviously on defense, like just looking at their depth chart, the guy that kind of holds it all together is one Matthew Judon, right? Like I said, Um, I literally was just talking about Dante Hightower. He retired. He's done. So that's a hole that you gotta fill.
I mean,
Like
Dante
that.
Hightower has been retired for a while. Like he didn't just retire. Like I don't think he ever came back after the COVID year.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think so. I don't think he's played since then.
Yes, he did.
Hold on.
He played 2021, so it's been 2 years. He literally like.
Okay,
He,
so yeah, so he hasn't played. He didn't play last season at all.
but you didn't. But you still haven't replaced that production. That you still haven't replaced that guy. Like that's something you're missing. And so that's a spot that's pretty much open for grabs. I mean, I'm looking. Oh, damn, wrong app, wrong app. I'm looking at it right now, and they got so Matthew Judon starting, Jawan Bentley starting, Jelani Tavaya starting, and Josh Uchi is starting at the other.
Outside.
Like, yeah, those are like that. That's their linebacking core. Do you feel confidence in anyone else not named Matthew Judon?
I mean, Josh Uche had a very good 2022, and you got to think he's going to continue to build on that. But those other two guys, not at all.
All right, so Keon White, like you can,
Like
and
Keon White is an edge rusher. He's going to play
and
defense.
Dietrich Wise is starting ahead of him, so he's a backup right now. He's listed as number 2 on the depth chart, that's fine. That means you're going to see rotational minutes as long as you don't piss Bill Belichick off, because we already know how that goes. When you're in Belichick's doghouse, you tend to stay there a lot.
I mean, but the problem, like, so they had 3 picks in the first round. They like none of these guys are going to start for them right away. I mean, Christian Gonzalez might, but like the other 2 picks.
No, Christian Gonzalez is going to start. He's listed.
I mean, this team had a major needed wide receiver. They chose not to address it until round 6. I mean,
and they got to steal.
Yeah,
and they got to steal.
I agree with you on that. Keon White may be a fantastic football player, but he's just a depth pick. Like, he's not a really good needle mover when it comes to this team. Like, they needed wide receiver depth in the worst way, and they just chose not to address it until round 6. And yes, they did get a really good player in Keontae Boutte, or Keishawn Boutte, who, if 5'11", 195 pounds. I mean, he's a little undersized, but like he should be a good wide receiver. He was really good at LSU for a while there.
For whatever reason, he got upset with something. I forgot what it was about though.
Yeah,
I don't know if
taking more depth at cornerback position. Taking Demario Douglas, 5'8", 179 pounds, probably a special teamer, kick returner, depending on what they'd end up doing with Marcus Jones. They took a punter in round 6. I don't really understand that decision whatsoever. I don't understand either trading up 8 spots and giving up a 4th round pick and a 6th in order to move up and take the kicker out of Maryland. That decision doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. It's just a very Bill Belichick draft. It just is. And I don't mean that as a compliment. Like, I just don't like that. I'm giving this a C.
Again, it's great because like you're winning 12 games a year, and it's just like, hey, we're winning 12 games. No one cares, right? No one like they were picking at the bottom of the first round, early second round for the better part of 20 years. No one cared because they were winning. Like no one cared. Like if you're picking pretty much 28th through like 33rd, like 28th through 33rd, no one cares because that means you're one of the better teams in the league, and you're like that much closer to winning the chip than you aren't. But now it's like you said, like they weren't even at 17. Like they traded back to get that pick. Where were they at?
I do really enjoy the fact that they basically screwed over the Jets by trading back with the Steelers, and they take Roderick Jones. Like I do enjoy that level of petty. Like I do enjoy that very much, and they still got the guy they probably would have taken at 14. Yeah, I think they needed to address wide receiver earlier than they did. I mean, Keishawn Boutte may end up being a fantastic football player. I think the jury's still very much out on that decision. This is a C draft, in my opinion. This might be one of the lower drafts I've given since we started doing season previews. Like it's just I don't understand a lot of these decisions.
Like they probably lost you when they drafted a kicker, and you said they drafted a punter.
Well, it's not even just drafting a kicker; trading up to take the
draft.
It just
Well,
doesn't make a lot
nothing,
of sense.
nothing tops the Buccaneers going kicker in the second round
Yeah, yeah.
for a guy that's not that didn't even last a season in
He
the
didn't even
NFL.
survive like two seasons in the NFL. Like he was done.
He was done.
Um, but yeah, give this a C. Moving into free agency, I think this is where they did a lot of their roster shakeup and lost a lot of their proven skill position guys. First, talk about departures, major departures. Damian Harris, who was a good running back for this team, ends up in Buffalo. James Robinson leaves. I think he's in Las Vegas now. Let me double check that. Actually, I don't remember. Robinson. Yeah, he's a Giant now. He gets to go to their arch enemy. Jacoby Myers was wide receiver 1 for the past few seasons. He ends up in Las Vegas. And then Nelson Aguilar leaves for it. He ends up in Baltimore as a member of that wide receiving core. Maybe additions, Mike Gesicki, Juju Smith-Schuster coming off that Super Bowl ring, Riley Reef coming off a pretty solid season for the Chicago Bears, and Chris Board, just a name because I had to fill out the rest of the graphic. He's
They
a
also
linebacker.
lost John. They also lost John Smith. You didn't put him on there either. Um,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, he was on there. They paid him, and now he's not there
That's
anymore.
true.
So
He hasn't even he's not even on the list here. I use a free agency website. Like Jordan Smith isn't even listed. Is he on the website? Like, what is? Did he
I don't
resign?
know. Yeah, he's in Atlanta.
Hmm.
He's in Atlanta.
Okay.
Juju, obviously Juju had to do so. He had to grow up a little bit. He had to get humbled because he was putting up numbers in Pittsburgh with Antonio
Oh,
Brown there.
he was traded to Atlanta for a 7th round pick,
That
which is why
counts
he's
as
not. Which is why he's not on the free agency graphic.
that counts as a departure in my book. I don't care.
It does. I usually include it. I didn't realize he was even traded. I guess I thought they released him. My bad.
And no, you good. And yeah, like I said, Juju had to grow up. He got humbled. He was putting up numbers with Antonio Brown was there. Then AB does what AB did, and he gets, Juju's the focal point, and Juju went like basically an entire season without having a 100-yard catch game. That was a long time. And then they were tired of the antics. Like he's on TikTok, he's doing TikToks on the field, doing all this other stuff. And then they just said, "Hey, we gonna wash our hands with you. You're done." Then he goes to Kansas City. Like he wins, but he was looked at completely differently. Like it's like, oh, the Chiefs signed Juju. It's like, okay, that's a good move. That's okay. And then they won, right? Like he just won the championship. Now he's gonna try this thing again as the number one guy elsewhere, right? Like it's like we gonna try this again, right? We gonna make you probably the number one. Yeah. Oh yeah. You the number one. Juju, Devontae Parker,
It's not close.
Tyquan Thornton. It's not close. You the number one. So we're gonna try this again with you as the number one. So like, let's see how you handle it this go round. And if I'm him, like I can't ask for 3 better systems to come up in. Can you name 3 better coaches to play for than Mike
Oh
Tomlin?
no! I mean, Mike Tomlin, Andy Reid, and Bill Belichick. No, I think that's like the pantheon, right, of excellent head coaches. Like
Bro,
you got one guy who has 2 Super Bowl rings and been to another. You got Bill Belichick who has 5, whatever the number is, and then you have Mike.
Bill Belichick all together. Like you mean like all together? Bill Belichick got like 8.
Yeah, he's got a couple as an assistant under Bill Parcells.
Bill Parcells.
But yeah, he's also got. But then you go to Mike Tomlin, who's got a ring his own, and never had a losing season in his entire career. But yeah, I think when you talk about Juju Smith-Schuster, he got humbled a little bit. Now he's coming back as like the number one wide receiver here for New England, and a team that's really going to rely on him to be the number one guy. Like Devontae Parker has moments where he just completely disappears. They're very high on Tyquan Thornton, but he had an up and down rookie season, so we'll see what's coming out of that. Kendrick Bourne is a solid wide receiver, but I don't think you can rely on him to be anything more than like a 2 or 3.
Right.
And Keyshawn Boutte is kind of an absolute dice roll. You don't know what you're going to get out of him from game to game. And Roger Stevenson, who I really like at running back, he's going to be the guy now. I mean, he had Damian Harris to spell a lot of that and take a lot of the goal line stuff. Roger Stevenson is going to be the guy now. Their additions, Mike Gesicki kind of wear out his welcome there in Miami. Super talented, but he just never seemed to really put it all together for an entire season. And I do like Riley Leaf. I think he's a pretty solid right tackle as somebody you can sign in free agency. On their departures, I actually think a lot. Like Damian Harris, I think is going to be that's tough. I think he's a tough guy to lose. I think he's going to be really productive in Buffalo. He did a lot of the nitty gritty, the tough running. Like he made this offense kind of go when he was the guy there. Jacoby Myers also wide receiver 1. I'm shocked they let him leave. To be honest with you, go to New York.
I'm not. It is what it is, right? Like,
I mean, he did have that one of the worst plays in NFL history on his resume.
Like, bro, like the game's tied. Just go down.
Like, go down.
You go into overtime. Just go down.
I'm sure. Like
the fact that he was allowed to finish the season. After that play,
I mean, he was wide receiver 1. They're the only guy that could really count.
I don't care. You don't. Don't justify that. Well, he did a dumb thing, but he's our number 1 guy. So
and he also owned up to it. He seems like a stand-up guy in a sit-down world. I'm not gonna hold that up to him again. But it was a pretty dumb boneheaded play. I would love a cookie, actually.
He's a stand-up guy.
The stand-up guy in a sit-down world.
Whatever. It was dumb.
But when it comes to free agency, I think the departures are pretty tough to lose. I don't care as much about James Robinson. He really didn't do anything for the Patriots if they traded for him. But Damian Harris, Jacoby Myers, Jonnu Smith, I think you're going to definitely notice their absence. This is like a C as well.
You are tough. You are harsh today. Like, God.
It's the Patriots, dude. I mean, they're gonna wait until you see what I got them rocking on their record's gonna be.
You are not man, bro. I mean, like, is it because like they have caused you just so much agony over?
It could be. I'm enjoying the pain. I'm enjoying the Patriots kind of being trashed right now, so I'm enjoying it right now.
Is it because of 28-3? Like you just you know?
Have you ever seen that Peyton Manning video where he's watching that Super Bowl? No, that was me during that Super Bowl.
Like I legit remember, like that was a fun time because you and Izzy were together. Y'all was just talking. Y'all just blowing up my phone, talking so much trash, and all of a sudden the comeback happened. And I didn't. You know the best part about it? I didn't say a word. I just let it play out. It was beautiful.
Moving on, let's talk about the 2023 New England Patriots. We have to go back to 28-3. By the way, if you haven't seen that Peyton Manning video where he's watching that Super Bowl, the commercial, it is stupid funny. Like it's so funny. So funny. But yeah, looking at their schedule, how do you think their record is going to shake out? Just looking at their schedule as a whole.
Okay, well, they lose week 1, they lose week 2. They lose week 3. They more than likely lose week 4. Would I be? Real talk. No joking aside. Would you be one bit surprised if they beat Dallas in Dallas?
No, I mean, I would be pretty shocked.
You would you like? You would not be like? Would you?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if Bill Belichick goes down there and outcoaches Mike McCarthy. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, maybe they might outcoach him, but he's still going to lose. The New England just don't have the talent to really compete with the Dallas Cowboys.
Bill Belichick can make Dak's life a living hell. Come on, man.
He could.
Come on, man.
But I actually think they wait until week 5 where they get their first win of the season. I think New Orleans comes into Gillette Stadium. I think they lose.
Wow, you got them. Let's see. 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 1-3, maybe. 0-4 more likely, but 1-3 maybe.
Yeah.
But I legit see a world where they lose their first 5.
I could see a world where they lose their first.
No, they beat the Raiders. They beat the Raiders.
That game's in the Death Star. I think that's
I
going to
don't
be
care. Jimmy Garoppolo's the quarterback, bro. Like Raiders fans got to stop acting like
Mac Jones is the quarterback, and Devontae Adams is still there. Hunter Renfro's still there. I mean, I know Josh Jacobs is doing Josh Jacobs things right now. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. But I still think there's going to be a world where he's back by this point.
hey,
I don't know, maybe.
We'll talk about it tomorrow because I got some ish to say about Mr. Saquon Barkley because that just irked my soul.
Yeah, he has the running back all meeting, and then he signs that contract like a couple hours later. Like, all right, so much for consolidation, right? But yeah, I can see a world where they lose their first 8 games in a row, and then they finally beat Washington. I think they beat Washington finally in Gillette. So I got them at 2-6 at that point in the season, and I don't think it gets any better after that because I do think they beat Indianapolis in Germany before their bye.
So okay, I got to keep doing this. Like they lose to Philly, they lose to Miami.
This is going to be another hot take. After their bye, they don't win a game. They basically lose out after their bye. They beat Indianapolis in Germany because I just think they're a better team than even the Colts right now. But after their bye, they lose to the Giants. They go to the Chargers. Chargers come there. They lose. They lose to the Steelers. They get pummeled into a fine powder by Kansas City. They go to Mile High and lose. They get beat down by Buffalo, and they lose to the Jets. They finish
with
3-14.
3-14.
Yeah.
I was gonna give them 5-12.
I mean, sure, but I just don't see where those wins are going to come from.
All right, okay. Let's
I could see a scenario where they beat Vegas, and I guess I could see a scenario where they beat Miami one time, but the rest of the schedule, I just don't. I mean, they could also beat Pittsburgh, I guess, too.
I see a scenario where I can see a scenario where they beat Dallas. Like I said, I respect the hell of Dak Prescott, but Dak gonna give you one. He gonna give you one.
He's the new Phillip Rivers.
Maybe like he talking about he ain't gonna throw double digit interceptions this season. Like, bro, just shut up. Because the minute you throw 10 interceptions, guess what folks gonna say? Oh, I guess what happened to not throwing double digit interceptions? Yeah. When you set yourself up for when you set yourself up for failure. Come on, you set yourself up for failure. Like it's not like no one to blame but you. I see a world where they beat Dallas. I see a world where they beat New Orleans. I see a world where they beat the Raiders. So that's 3 in a row right there. That's 3 wins right there. They can beat Washington. They can beat Indianapolis. And I'm with you on after the bye. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. Like, can they beat the Giants? Maybe. Like, which Daniel Jones are we getting at this point of the season?
I mean, we're getting going into Minnesota playoff Daniel Jones, or are we getting what we've seen out of him the first 3 seasons of his career?
Justin Fields and like pretty much every quarterback that's a starter right now that's not producing, quote unquote. Think about this: 15 touchdown passes got Daniel Jones $45 million.
That's like if you think about his career, he's basically had 1 season where he was even remotely startable, and he got $40 million a year.
Like, think about that: 15 touchdown passes got Daniel Jones 40. And don't sit here and say, "Oh, but they made the playoffs." Not because of Daniel Jones throwing 15 touchdown passes.
They made the playoffs because their offensive line is excellent and they had a great running game.
And Saquon Barkley was back. Thank you.
Yeah, he's only thrown 60 touchdowns for his whole career.
Like, come on, bro. That got you $40 million, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's gonna be. All right, do I see Bill? I understand Bill Belichick is.
Kudos to him, I guess.
Kudos to his agent. Fuck him. Kudos to his agent. Whoever his agent is.
It's probably Clutch Sports. LeBron James is
man.
LeBron James helps people get paid.
This legit might be the worst season that Bill Belichick's had in God knows how long.
3 wins. 3. I'm not even joking about that. They're gonna win 3 games this year. Who gave them this? They will beat New Orleans and they will beat Washington and they'll beat the Colts. They're losing every other game. rest of the schedule all the way through.
But first off, who gave them the schedule? They are evil.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And you think you get a bone, you get to play the Jets. Now Aaron Rodgers rolling through town, right?
They well, like I think with that is what you call it. You had to know that was coming. Like they were talking about it for the better part of a year, right? So like, you had to know that was coming, right? So like the best you can do at that point was like, hey, start prepping for, hey man, Aaron might be a Jet any day now, and any day now took a long time to be any day now, didn't it? Like it
felt like months. It was like after he went on the Pat McAfee show, it was like a month and a half before that trade was finally done. Like it was like, all right, we were getting like so sick of even talking. We're not talking about Aaron Rodgers until the trade.
Right, I swear to God, I'm like, bro, like we not like I was done with that after like 2 weeks. I'm like, bro, like we're not doing Aaron Rodgers talk until it happens. Like I'm so serious.
I 100% agree with you on that. But yeah, I have them at 3-14.
Can they split with Miami? I'm with you on that one. Maybe like late in the season. Wait. No, because they like usually the one advantage they have over Miami is when Miami comes there late in the season and it's freezing.
They don't even come. They play them in week 2.
Get that. You get that week 2.
Right. You can go to Miami when it's still going to be hot and humid there. But yeah, I have them 3-14. I just don't think this is going to be a good season for the New England Patriots. I'm sorry, all you New England Patriot fans who have high hopes for this year. I just think that this is going to be the season where you see a major change in New England.
That being said, you expect 3-14. I said 5-12. Watch, just to spite us, watch Bill Belichick somehow win 7 games because that's just what he does.
With that roster and that team and like this schedule, I don't see that being a thing.
Okay, but, like that being said, like let's just say hypothetical. This is all hypotheticals, right? Your world, they go 3-14, but Mac Jones produces. He has a 30. Yeah, he has like 3,500 yard passing yards. Like 20 to 25 touchdown passes. Do they move off of Mac? Do they even have that conversation?
I think they do. I think they at least have the conversation. Yeah, I mean, if you're winning 3 games and Mike Jones is your quarterback, I mean, but at the same time, like he's producing. So like, what good is like he's producing? Like he's putting up numbers. Like let's just say like they like 3-14, but like they do something like what the Bears did, right? Like 1-7 and 1-score games and stuff like they had. They had some games. I mean, in this hypothetical situation where Mac Jones loses a bunch of one-score games, I think maybe they think about it. But I think if they have the opportunity, if they have the first overall pick, they're taking a quarterback, period.
If they have the first overall pick, they are taking Marvin Harrison Jr. They are not going quarterback.
We'll see. That's all part of the debate. Let us know down in the comment section. What do you think New England's going to be like this season? I don't have very high hopes. I'm sorry if you're a Patriot fan and you have high hopes for this season. I just don't think it's going to go that well. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Tomorrow we're doing our State of the Running Back special, so keep an eye for that content. I'm David Huppin. Right there is my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And TJ, what do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, and this shit can go, man. This is ghetto. I don't like this.
83 here in Fort Wayne right now. 83. So it has not gotten that much cooler.
It's 82. It's 82 here, and it's supposed to be what? It's supposed to be 96 tomorrow. I think tomorrow's going to be the hottest.
95
day.
Here is supposed to be the hottest day of the year tomorrow. So.
Yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be our hottest day of the year, and then we get it. Hey, like it's sad when 85 is considered a break.
Yeah, yep. We're getting the same stuff here in Fort Wayne. So, but yeah, we'll see you guys all tomorrow. You all have a good night and stay safe out there. We'll be back here talking about running backs tomorrow. Peace out.